In today's episode, we're debunking the top 10 certification myths. And I must admit, there's one myth in this list that I'm kind of on the fence about. So stay tuned. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and that notification bell. Welcome to Debt Free in IT. I'm your host, Mike. This podcast is for anyone who's looking to get into the IT industry, whether it's for a career change or you're just interested. I think you come to the right place. No matter if you're already in the IT industry or you're trying to get a position in the IT industry. At some point of your career, we all have had to study for this certification or for a certification. So a lot of times with certifications, sometimes they get a bad rap. Sometimes you hear people say that a certification doesn't mean nothing. Then you hear certain people that say a certification means everything. Well, today, I got a list of 10 myths about certifications that we're going to take a look at. And the first myth is that a certification guarantees a job. So from far as I can think of, I can't actually name one certification that's going to guarantee a job. Now, what a certification will do is it's a good investment in yourself to learn a new technology. And then by you learning that new technology, it opens up the jobs that you can apply for. So whatever that certification is on, it opens up to now you can apply for jobs that has to deal with that certain technology for that certification. So it's a good return on investment because, like I said, it may not guarantee the job, but it puts you in position to go out and get that job. So where before you may not have that certification, you may not have any kind of experience with that certain technology. After you get the certification, and let's say you still don't have no experience, but that certification, some employers may look at it and say, okay, this may be a entry-level role, so let's give this person a shot that just got this certification. You go in, you knock the interview out the park, and like I said, you end up getting your first job that has to deal with that certification that you got. So one, does a certification guarantee a job? I can't think of any jobs that a certification will guarantee that you get. But like I said, it is a good return on investment, and it opens up the doors to a lot of opportunities that has to deal with that certification that you just went out and got. The second myth is that certifications are only for entry-level roles. So this is far from the truth. So a lot of times you may hear certification and entry-level roles just because a lot of times it's one of the things that sets newcomers apart or new graduates apart from a lot of their mates or a lot of their graduation class where, okay, we all coming out with that degree. So let me try to get a couple of certifications in order to better help myself get my foot in the door for this first entry level role. So a lot of times, like for me, for instance, the CCNA, it got me my first entry level role, which was computer operations, then leading into help desk, desktop, then networking. So it's not just for entry level roles because I have a lot of friends that still in the IT industry that they've got years of experience and they may have, their company may have been implementing a new technology. So in order to learn and get up to date on that technology, one of the things may be that, oh, we need you to go and get certified for this technology. So you go out and get that certification. So I've done seen senior engineers study for the next level. Senior engineer may be studying for the CCIE. And then I've seen where someone coming in, a networking technician, usually you may have that CCNA, then you start studying to move up to that next level. You start studying for that CCNP. So it's not only for entry-level roles. You have certifications for every point of your career. So if you're just starting out in networking, that entry-level certification could be that Network Plus for you. It could be the CCST networking. And it very well could be the CCNA certification. But then as your skills start to progress, you're going to start to move on and update your knowledge base by getting another certification. And what makes this so sweet is a lot of times, especially with networking, and I'm sure it's like this for almost everything else, is that as you're progressing, so let's say you're at that CCNA level and you're doing a networking job. As you're progressing and studying for that CCNP, it makes it a little bit easier because 9 times out of 10, the technologies that's in that CCNP, you're probably doing that every day in your networking role. So it goes hand in hand. It helps out each other. But the myth of that certifications are only for entry-level roles, that's far from the truth. The next myth is that certifications are a one-time effort, meaning that most people may think that, okay, you study for this certification, you get it one time, and then that's it. You don't have to get any other certifications. So that's actually far from the truth also. So with most certifications, if you notice, unless you happen to get grandfathered in on one of the CompTIA certifications, but most of the other certifications, especially some of the intermediate to advanced level or associate level or professional level certifications, a lot of those certifications, you do have to renew them every 3 years. So you get the certification today, it's 2024. In 2027, you're going to have a decision to make. It's either going to be, okay, I'm going to take this same certification over and renew it and get the same certification again just to renew my cert, or I'm going to move up to another certification within that organization. So if it's Cisco pertaining, okay, I'm going to keep this CCNA, or I'm going to move up to the CCNP. So throughout your whole career, it's always, I'm not saying you're always going to be studying for a certification, but if you want to keep up with the way technology moves, a lot of time for your current field, there's always going to be some kind of cert that you may want to go out and get just to validate your learning. So certifications are not just a one-time effort, but a lot of times if there's something that you take, let's say if you're taking a certification just to try to get into the door. Once you get in the door, yeah, you might not take another certification for a while. You might let that certification expire, but there's gonna come a time where you need something to set yourself apart in order to move up to that next level. And 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be a mixture of your years of experience, and then also it may or may not be you getting this certification to help you move up to that next level. The next myth that I have on my list is that all certifications are equally valuable. So all certifications are worth the same thing. And like I said, that's far from the truth too. One way you can tell is just look at the price of the certifications. Most entry-level certifications is roughly around probably $99 to $100. And you look at most associate level certifications or most advanced certifications, they're usually around $300 to $400 too. So if you're someone that looks at the cost from that aspect tells us that, okay, this should have a little bit more value to it. But also if you go deeper than that, you take a entry level certification. You know, I'm picking on, let's say the entry level network or network plus. So we look at that network plus certification, and then you look at a CCNP professional networking certification. So there's a real big difference there, a real big knowledge gap from that Network Plus, which is going over some of the foundations in networking. You're building that foundation. And then also going to a CCNP, you're looking at a real big knowledge gap there. And let's say if you had a CCST networking, so that's an entry level, it puts you on the right path with those entry level certs. It puts you on the right path to go in and obtain those higher level certs. So are all certifications equally valuable? I don't think so, in my opinion. Some people may say it is, but in my opinion, I think that as your career progresses, your certifications start to become more valuable because you're going to start going out getting more deeper certifications, more advanced certifications, and things like that to validate your knowledge in the field. So some of the entry-level certifications, like I said, they're valuable in the aspect that, this could be what lands me my first job. So it's valuable in that aspect also. But are all certifications the same? Not in my opinion. And the fifth myth that I have on my list is that certifications are expensive and not worth the cost. So 2 things here. They're expensive, not worth the cost. So sometimes they can get a little bit expensive, but majority of the time that return on investment is worth way more than the cost of that certification. So let's look at the CCNA for me. I think when I took it, it was roughly around $300. So for that $300, and I took it twice, so let's say $600. So that $600 investment in myself pretty much has multiplied multiple times. So that $600 investment in myself, once I got it, opened up the doors to those type of job roles, ended up getting me a job, ended up me being in networking, ended up me transferring to an instructor. So if you think about it, my whole career was based on me getting that certification. Now, If I wouldn't have got it, would I be here now? Maybe, maybe not. But that certification, like I said, at that point of my life, $300 was expensive. So you have some certifications that's more than that now. Like most of your CompTIAs, they're usually around $350, $400 and something. Then there's even certifications that's a little bit higher than that. And yeah, that is pretty expensive. But when you look at it, what it could do for you, like I said, it's not guaranteed to do anything, but you look at the potential of it doing. It's almost like you getting into some Apple stock when Apple was $10. Yeah, it cost $10, and for me to get 100 shares, that's pretty expensive at the time. But you look at what it could do. Apple now is roughly around what I want to say about at least 100 or more now. You know, I can't say it right off of my head. I know it's done split a couple of times, but let's just look at the multiple of if you got in at $10 or if you got in when it first came out at $20, $25, $30. You look at the multiple of it. So that's the same way with certifications. Yeah, you're paying this upfront fee, but in return, the doors that it's going to open and the jobs that it could provide you could end up being life-changing for you, depending on where you're at in your career. Sorry to interrupt this video. According to my YouTube analytics, 84% of my viewers are not subscribed. If I provided any value to you in any one of my episodes and you're not subscribed, please consider doing so, as it does help out the channel. And also, if you're listening in your favorite podcasting app, please leave me a review and share this with a friend. Now back to the episode. So the sixth myth I have is that certifications are only about passing a test. And this is also far, 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 far from the truth. So if you go in and you study for this certification just to pass that test and you don't know what you've just passed, you might as well not even take that. You might as well send your money to my P.O. box and give it to me. You might as well, that $300-$400 you about to go and take this cert, go ahead, Cash App it to me. Cash App is in the description. So go ahead, Cash App it to me, because once you take that certification and your only reason for taking it is just to say that, oh, I passed this test and I got this certification, then it's not going to really do you any good if you don't actually know it. So pretty much you need to know what you just studied for and what you just learned and what you just passed, because even if that certification ends up getting you an interview somewhere, when someone sees on your resume you got this certification, you best believe they're going to drill you on that technology to make sure that you actually know what you need to know if you pass that certification. So if I see someone, if I'm interviewing someone, if I'm on the interviewing team and I see that they got a CCNA, you best believe I'm going to have some networking questions for you, buddy. I'm going to have some questions tucked off for you. Well, I'm going to know whether or not if you actually know networking. I'm going to ask you to subnet something. You know, that's one of the ways I can clearly tell if you are on the right path. I'm going to ask you some networking questions. So I'm going to give you some IP addresses. Let me know what type of IP address this is. I'm going to test you. So just like anywhere else, a lot of times you may interview with a team of people. So if you're going for a certain technology and you got that certification, you best believe if that certification is something that they use there, that's a technology that they implement, what they use every day, you best believe you're going to get some questions about that certification. And then at the end of that interview, they're going to clearly know that, okay, they just passed this test. They don't understand what they passed. They just passed the test. You know, they got the paper. You got some paperwork. That's it. You know, so certifications, are they only about passing the test? Far from the truth also. Now, this next myth is somewhat like this is the one that I'm kind of on the fence about, because it says you don't need a certification if you have experience. So with this aspect, I have seen this work out both ways. So I have seen someone that been at an organization for a long time and ended up, you know, they got a lot of experience, and let's say they ended up somehow training for a networking role. They learned that networking role. So they may be a network engineer and they may not have a CCNA. So they just been at that one company for so long that they know the networking technology and everything. They've learned it on their own. They just didn't go out and get the certification. So that's kind of a 50-50 deal there, because those situations are rare. So not saying that happens every day. Those situations happen. Those are pretty rare. So in some cases, like I said, the certification may end up getting you in the door, and then you get your experience off of that certification, and then that helps you to move to other places in the field. That helps you to progress. So with that one, do you need a certification if you have experience? Like I said, I'm kind of torn with that one. That's a 50-50 split there, because I do know some folks that may have certain positions, administrative positions, engineer positions, and they may not necessarily have a cert. Or if they do have a cert, it may be a cert that they got years ago to get in the door. Then after that, they haven't really gotten any other cert. But most of the time, if that person is trying to move to other organizations, a lot of times you will see that those folks go get some kind of certification, because they know that I'm going back out here in the field where I got to compete. And when you're going out in the field, when you got to compete, you want to be able to stand apart from the people that you're competing against. So do you need a certification if you have experience? That's going to be a 50-50 in my opinion, because I've seen people get their experience and somehow they might have started in help desk, worked their way up and things like that without ever having to go get this certification. But like I said, that's a rare case there, where some folks, like I said, it ends up, we get a cert to get in the door, and then we may end up getting other certifications as we try to progress our career and move to different elements or different environments or different departments within the IT industry. And then the next myth I have is that you must get certified in everything. If you go out and get certified in everything, you will probably not have a life, because there's so many certifications out there. I don't think it's a need to go out and try to get certified in everything. Most cases, usually for me, I try to get certified in things I'm interested in. Like if it's like, okay, I want to get into the cloud. Okay, I may start looking at some cloud certifications. Or, okay, I want to get real good with Palo Alto. I want to look at some firewalls. I may start looking at those type of certifications. But am I just going out and saying, oh, there's a new certification for this, let me go ahead and get it. Oh, there's a new certification for this came out, let me go ahead and get that too. A lot of times there is a such thing as having too much paperwork. Having too much paperwork. It is a such thing where someone looks at your resume, you got 25 certifications. A lot of times, first thing gonna come to mind is that, oh, they must have dumped them or something like that. So a lot of times, like I said, it is a such thing as too many certs. But a lot of times, if you've been in the field for a long time, you will end up probably accumulating a lot of certs too. But like I said, there's no need to go out and get certified in everything. Not in my opinion. Usually something you're interested in or something that you're trying to move to, let's say that you're trying to get better, you're trying to get to this position, you're trying to get to this certain job role. A lot of times I'll go out and try to get the certifications that pertains to that certain job role or that certain technology that job role is using. So the next myth is that certifications are easy and can be cracked with dumps. So first thing is, you never want to get a dump to take a certification. So a lot of times, if you don't know what a dump is you have companies out here that try to steal the certification questions from these organizations, and then they sell it for people to get and just study the questions and go out and get the certification. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that do that. I never do that. It's one of the things where if I'm studying for a certification, I want to know that I passed it on my own merit. I want to know that my hard work, my hour a day I put in for 3 months, I want to know that my hour a day paid off, that I actually know enough to pass this certification. So, and then also dumps are also illegal. So if someone turns you in that you took a dump to get this certification, a lot of times that organization can ban you from getting any certs. So it's one of the things where you try to take the easy way out and it come back and bite you in the rear end. Now you can't get no certifications from that organization. And then let's say word spreads around that, oh, this person got barred from this company. And then a lot of times that's just going to end your whole IT career. So you might as well just do it right the first time or don't do it at all. So, with these certifications, like I said, go ahead, It's a good feeling when you go in that morning nervous. You sit down at that station, you take that test, you get to the last question, you hit submit, and you get the results and say you passed. It's a unique feeling. I never won no championship. I never played any sports or anything like that. But I would say if the feeling of winning a championship could be relayed to some aspect of IT, I would probably say someone studying long and hard for a certification and then passing that certification will be the equivalent. The equivalent, man, I can't even hardly say it. I'm from the country, so it'll be the same feeling. So you'll get the same feeling. That's what I equate it to. So certifications easy? No, they're not necessarily easy either. And then also, like I said, you don't want to take a dump to go ahead and to go and try to get that paperwork for your certification. And then the last myth that I have is that certifications are irrelevant in a rapidly changing tech landscape. So certifications are irrelevant because tech changes so fast. That's not necessarily the case either. If you notice, most of the time when tech changes, a lot of times now we got companies that they're able to make updates rather quick. So with Cisco, as you see, the AI became a thing, and you see they put out an update where AI is now a part of their certification. So they're able to update these tests rather quickly without having to change the whole certification test in order for this technology. So with that aspect being in place, I think it makes it easier going forward as technology changes, we can go out and push out this little update to reflect that technology change. So certifications, they're not irrelevant because technology changes all the time. And from technology changing so much, us as IT professionals need a way to go out and learn that technology because we can't just go out and afford to buy that hardware for that technology and then spend all this money buying it, then try to learn it. So it's best for us to go out, okay, let's see if they got a certification. Let me start studying for the certification because the certification is going to teach me all about this product. So now I get the certification. So now I'm ready to go out into the real world and kind of support this product. So certifications, they're not irrelevant just because technology changes all the time. So certification, I think it's a good thing to have certifications because as technology changes, we got a way to quickly update our skill set from just going out and checking out this certification if we don't have the resources to actually be able to work on that product, especially if you're working somewhere and as technology changes, your organization changes too, then you get a lot of training just there with that organization from learning that new technology. So, but the certifications, they aren't irrelevant and technology does change a lot, but it doesn't make the certification irrelevant. So that brings me to the end of this episode. Hopefully you found some value in this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, you can follow me at debunking. If you have any questions, you can email me at debtfreeandit@gmail.com, or you can visit the website debtfreeanditwithmike.com. Other than that, I'll see you next week. Peace.